application. It also dictates how to develop web applications. Means it defines some set of rules and regulations, right? So a library is a collection of programs with predefined functionality, and libraries provide only which environment? Development environment. So understood? Up to this, is it clear? Yes, you understood what is WGA? What is WGA stands for? Web server gateway interface. What it is? What that is? Set of rules and regulation. Is the specifications given by Python for developing which applications? Web applications in what? Python. Will you follow your own rules or rules given by Python? Rules given by Python means all these frameworks are there, right? All these frameworks uses which rules? WSGA. And you use these specifications like DJANGO is a specification written in Python by using what? WSGI. Understood? Right? So then what is the framework you understood? What is a framework is? A framework is a software bundle. What it provides? Development environment and execution environment. A framework is a collection of libraries and tools. Libraries are used for developing web applications and tools used for managing developed web application. So what is a library? Is a collection of programs with predefined functionality. Libraries provide only development environment but doesn't provide what? Execution environment. Clear? Okay. Then next, yes. See here it is written, see, a micro framework that is lightweight and flexible. Okay, a full featured high level framework that encourages rapid development and clean design often referred to the batteries what? Included. Batteries loaded means everything is available with what? Django. So next comes to what is Django is. Okay, so I just prepared some simple points related with what is a Django is here. So what is Django? Now if you see Django is, so what is Django is, so first, so what is Django? Some people say Django and some people say what here? Django. So that is your wish. Okay. So Django is a web application. Web application what? Framework. Written in which language? Python language. Django is a web application framework written in Python language. So Django or Django is a framework. Okay, used by web developers for developing which application? Web application. Django is a framework used by web developers for developing which application? Web application. So Django, okay, Django web framework. Django web framework is written by following written in which language? Python language, by following the rules given by whom? Python. And what is that rules is? WSGI. What is that rules is? WSGI. Understood? So what is Django is? So Django is a library or framework? Framework. And this framework is written in which language? Python language. And why you are using this framework? for developing web application. So who understand this DJANGO? Who understand DJANGO? Who understand DJANGO? DJANGO servers. DJANGO server. DJANGO server is implemented by using what? WSGI. See here, server. This is your, again I'm telling you same thing. Huh? So this is which server? This is which server? HTTP server. This is your HTTP server. And HTTP server understand only which language? You send a request. You send a request using what? HTTP. So server can understand only HTTP. But your application is written in which language? Python. Then who execute this Python? Yes, right? You required one more program or not? Yes. What is that program is called? What is that program? Generally, you call this as what? Container. This is called as container. This container can be called as interface. So this container is communicating with which application? Web application. Yes or no? But see here, this container follow which rule? This container follow which rule? WSGA. Your application also develop using which rule? WSGA. So WSGA program communicate with which program? WSGA. Understood? So it is an interface, right? Who's communicating with your web application. But how? It is communicating with your web application means now WSGA interface should understand which one? WSGA only. Suppose HTTP client to talk to which server? HTTP server. Okay, na? FTP client to talk to which server? FTP server. Now WSGA client. Now you can see WSGA client to talk to which server? WSGA server. Understood? So here your application, who's communicating with your application? WSGA. WSGA what? Interface. Interface, or you call it as engine, or you call it as what? Container, which will take care of execution of your program. Which will take care of execution of your program. Yes. So DJANGO web framework is written in Python language by following the rules given by Python. And what is that rules are called? WSGI. Understood? Okay. So what is WSGI? You should understand. Okay. So DJANGO is what? Framework. DJANGO is what? Framework written in Python language. Okay. So that is written in Python language for developing web applications. But for developing web applications, you follow which rules? Yes. So who's written these rules in Python language? By Django. Who's written these rules? By these rules, WSGA rules written in Python language by which people? Django. Okay, na? So there are different people written this WSGA rules in what? Python language. One is Django. One more is what? Flash. One more is what? Pyramid. One more is what? Web2Py. One more is what? Fast API. All these are what? All these are what? Yes. All these are what? Frameworks. And all these frameworks are written in which language? Python language. And this given to whom? Developers for developing which applications? Web applications. Understood? What is a yes or no? Okay. So that is what exactly the meaning of which one? DJANGO. So don't think something else. Okay. So then if you see the history of DJANGO, so DJANGO is created in 2003. DJANGO is created in what? 2003. Like Python is, when the first version of Python is released in 1991, right? 1991. Yes, first released in 1991 to the public. But it is conceived in the year 1989. 89. It is conceived in the year 1989. Yes. Okay. Mainly where you use DJANGO or so why you are using a DJANGO for developing web application? You want to develop a web application. Now there are so many applications. There are so many web applications written in Python. Django. Python Django. That is, for example, you have Instagram is there. Instagram is written in which language? Python. See here. Instagram built using Python for its backend logic. So utilizes DJANGO web framework. So Instagram is written in which language? Python. So what is the backend of your Instagram is? Which framework? DJANGO. So daily you are using Instagram, right? So that Instagram backend is what? DJANGO. Backend is a DJANGO, means server side. So Instagram core functionality, including handling users' data, processing requests, and managing the application's logic, is implemented using Python. So the Django framework is popular Python framework, and Instagram uses extensively, right? So, but what is the front end is you have different front ends. But what is the backend used by the Instagram here? Django. See, there are a lot of applications developed in what? Django. Okay. So applications written, web applications, web applications written, sorry, web applications written in which one? Django. So there are so many applications which are written in Django here. All these notable Django powered web applications. See here, what is that? Instagram. This is a social media, right? So this platform completely written in what? Django. One more is what? Pinterest. What is a print? Pinterest is pinning what? Pinning images, text that can be done by using what? Pinterest. And Spotify, it is a music streaming app, right? So that is also uses backend as what? Django. And you have a YouTube, a video sharing platform, and that is also uses backend as what? Django. And Dropbox, okay, Bitbucket, NASA, the Washington Post, National Geographic, all these are notable web applications, and they use a backend as which one? Django. Understood? So it means don't think that Django means just a Django, right? So it is one of the powerful web framework which is used by big companies. It is one of the powerful web framework which are used by what? Very big companies, right? Yes. Okay. Now that is what is your question? Django, what salary we can ask from company? Huh? Okay. Okay. So that depends on your. You're a fresher, right? Fresher means fresher doesn't look for knowledge. Fresher means fixed salary will be there. Company norms will be there, no? Suppose if it is Infosys, fresher fixed. Yes. If it is TCS, fresher is what? Fixed. Salary is what? Fixed. They don't change from one person to another. So all will get same salary. If you are a fresher, if it is experience that is based on your experience, they'll give what? Salary. But fresher level, you cannot ask anything. Fresher level, you cannot ask anything. First, you should get a job. I should not demand. First of all, getting job is very difficult. Okay, you cannot demand it. Okay, there is no demand. There is no demand, right? Okay, let's no demand. If demand is there, you can ask. Okay, so lot of software developers are there. Okay, it means supply is more, demand is less. Then obviously you don't have demand. Then whatever salary they give, you have to take. Okay, if the supply is less and demand is more, you can ask. Okay, na? So now supply is more. So many people are there, but less jobs are there. Then what do you have to do? Join Alante. Okay, yes, you have to join in the company. You should not think about what? salary. First 2 years, I should not think about salary. You have to get the experience. You have to get the experience. You should not think about salary first 2 years. 2 years, you should not think about salary. So don't think about salary, think about experience. That is very important. Okay, right? Yes. Okay. Now these are some points here. Now Django is created in the year 2003, but first released to the public in 2005. First released to the public in July 2005. Okay. And by the person called Adrian Holveti and Simon Wilson. So these are two people who developed which framework? Django. So developed at Lawrence Journal World newspaper in Lawrence, right? So actually they developed this Django framework for developing and managing which one? News-oriented websites. So they developed this framework. Okay, why they developed this framework? To manage what? News-oriented websites. And news-oriented websites, like you have news websites, right? Times of India. Okay, if you open that website, you can see a lot of journals, right? So that kind of websites are developed by these people. For managing that kind of websites, they develop this framework called which one? Django. And this Django is named the Django. Now suppose Python is there. So Python is a name taken from one popular comedy serial which is called as Monty Python Flying Circus. One comic name in Monty Python Flying Circus whose name is what? Python. In the same way, so Django is a name taken from popular jazz guitarist, one popular jazz guitarist whose name is what? Django Reinhardt. Okay, so Django Reinhardt. This is a person who was a famous guitarist, and these people famous. I mean, these people. What do you call it as? So, what do you call it as? Halveti, and what is that? Will Wilson. Halveti, and what is that? Wilson. Okay, these people favorite guitarist is what? Django Reinhardt. So this is a person. Because of that, they have given the name as what? Django. So the creators were fans of his music. Because of that, they have given the name as what? Django. Right? So released to the public in the July 2005 and actively maintained by which company here? DSF. Like Python is managed by what? PSF. PSF stands for Python Software Foundation. Who manages which software? Python software. In the same way, DJANGO is managed by which company? DSF, which is called as DJANGO Software Foundation. And this DJANGO Software Foundation, it is a community. I mean, it is a, what do you call it, as non-profitable organization. And in this, you have a lot of people. There are a lot of people are involved. A lot of people are contribute to which one? DSF. Like a lot of people are contributed to what? Python. In the same way, lot of people contributed to what? DSF. Now, not only that, now this Django is a framework used by companies like what? Instagram, Pinterest, Mozilla, and what is that? Rescue, YouTube, like that. There are so many companies are using which software? Django software or Django framework. And what is the current version of Django is 5.x. Now, but the company is still using what? 4.2. 4.2. But what is the current version of Django is 5. Latest version of Django is what here? 5. Okay, na? Right. So when Django is released to the public in 2005, and when Django is created in 2003, who's the authors of Django is Adrian Holveti and one more is Simon Wilson. So these are the two people though who's called as the creators of which one? Django. But how they created Django? By following the rules given by Python. And what is that rules are? WSGI. Understood? Okay. So when is invented in 2003? When is released to the public in 2005? And who's managing the Django? DSF. Who manages Python? PSF. Who manage Python? PSF. Who manage Django? DSF. Who develop Python? Guido 1, Russell. Who developed Django? Adrian Holwaty and Simon Williamson. So these people are created which one? Django. And it is released to the public in 2005. This name is taken from popular guitarist called DJANGO, DJANGO or Django Reinhardt. So this is a person who's famous guitarist, and the creators were fans of his music. Because of that, they have given the name as what? Django. Right? Understood? Right. Then next is, what is the advantage of using Django? What is the advantage of Django, right? Yes. 5.x means this x can be 5.0, 5.1, 5.2, but current version is 5.1.2. 5.1.2. Because of that, I've given what? 5.x, right? So, what is the advantage of using Django? What is the advantage of using Django? Now, see here. How many features are there? 15 features are there. So, Django, why have to use Django compared to what other frameworks? But most of the companies uses what? Django only. Most of the companies uses what? Django. So you find even suppose Django jobs. Okay. For freshers, huh? Okay. Python Django developer, right? So Django jobs here I'm looking in here only. Django freshers jobs, not in Hyderabad, complete. So you can see Python developer. How much? 0 to 1. So Python CSS and Python developer lead. What you require? Django, REST API and Python framework. And what is a Django framework? Don't look for the salaries. So Python developer freshers. What is that? Django and my SQL. Okay. Now full stack developer, intern, Django and what is that? React. So you have a full stack developer interns, right? So all these are interns only. Now full stack developer, and what you required front end as well as what? Back end. So there is a Python developer. What you required? Python, CSS and all the things. So just to see, I mean, put an experience as what? 0. Then you'll get all the jobs related with what? 0 experience. Okay, na? Alright. Yes. So what is the advantage of using Django? Okay. So how many features are there here? 15 features are there. How many features are there? 15 features. 15 are there. So first one is what? MVC pattern. And second one is built-in admin interface. Third one is ORM. Fourth one is security. And fifth one is scalability, rapid development, versatile template engine, form handling, URL routing system, authentication and authorization, middleware support, internationalization, reusable apps, development tools, and extensive documentation. Like while learning Python, you even learn features of what? Python. Yes. So features are nothing but what? Facilities. Features are nothing but facilities provided by Python. So who's using these facilities? You purchase mobile. Mobile will provide so many facilities, right? Who uses? User, mobile user or not? You use all the facilities. Yes. In the same way, DJANGO also providing so many features. How many features it is providing? 15. Who's using all these features? Developer. Who's using all these features? Developer. Developer is using all these features, right? So which makes it application development what? Easy. Now that is the advantage of using major framework compared to which one? Micro frameworks. Is it micro framework will provide all this? No. Micro framework doesn't provide all this. Okay, na? Yes. So in this, what is the first feature is MVC pattern, MVC. But actually you call it as MVC in other languages. But when it comes to the Django, you call it as which one? MVT. MVC, MVT. So MVC, what is MVC stands for here? Yes, up to this clear? Tell me, up to this clear? I'm just moving to features. Yes, let us move into features, sir. Yes, okay. Then first one is, what is the first feature it is providing is MVC. In other languages you call it as MVC, but in Django you call it as what? MVT. MVC, MVT. So what is this MVC, MVT, and why you require this? Why you require this? MVC, you have a MVC, and one more is what? MVT. What is MVC stands for is model view controller. MVC stands for model view controller. What is MVT stands for? Model view. What is this? Template. MVC stands for model view controller. MVT stands for model view template. So you want to develop application using what? DJANGO. You want to develop application using what? DJANGO. So whenever you are talking about application development, you develop application or you design one application by following certain rules and regulations. Now, what is this MVT, MVC are called design patterns. These are called as which one? Design patterns. This is called as a design pattern. What is design pattern? A design pattern define a solution for a given problem. A design pattern give solution for what? A given problem. Okay. So these are called which design patterns? Architectural design patterns. What these are called? Architectural. These are called architectural design patterns. These are called architectural design patterns. What is the name of this? MVC, and one more is what? MVT. MVC stands for model view controller. MVT stands for model view template. So this is used by Java. This is used by .NET. This is used by React. Okay, React or PHP. All these uses which one? MVC. But when it comes to the Python like Django, Flash, this uses which framework? Which design pattern? MVT. So MVC, MVT are called design pattern. What is design pattern? A design pattern defines the solution for a given problem. It defines the solution for a given problem. That is called as what? Design pattern. And a gang of 3 people are given some solutions of like 20 or 30 solutions they give. That you come across while developing which one? Web application, or you come across so many problems while developing applications, and to overcome those problems, okay, you can apply what? Certain design patterns. You can apply certain design patterns. Now this is one design pattern which is called MVT. It means whenever you develop a web application, your web application or your application is divided into how many parts? Your application is having how many logics? Tell me, your web application or any program you take, your program is having how many logics? Your program is having how many logics? 3 logics. 3 logics. Here you can see no MVT. How many logics are there? 3 logics are there. Okay. So one is, for example, I want to add what here? 2 numbers. I want to add two numbers. What I want to do? I want to add two numbers. Two numbers I want to add it. Okay. How can I add two numbers? One is what? Input. Integer of input. Enter which number? First number. Input enter first number. N2 equal to integer of input. Enter what here? Second number. Enter first number. Enter what? Second number. Then next is N3 equal to N1 plus N2. Then third is sum of. Okay, sum of N1. N1 and N2 is N1 and N2 is what here? N3. Now you see here, this is three logics are there or not? Yes. Three logics are there. Okay. Now when you run this, you run this. Now I given 10 and 20. What is the output of this is 30. Getting or not? So every application you take, it is divided into how many layers? Three layers. You don't write everything in what? One program. You divide your application logic into what? How many programs? Three programs. One is called as which one? Model. Second one is called as which one? View. Third one is called as which one? Template. Third one is called as template. So template is nothing but here you have a which logic here? Presentation logic. It is having which logic? Presentation logic. Presentation logic. Presentation. See here. Presentation. You run this. This is a presentation or not? Yes. Where you give the input, where you give the input, and where it is given what? Output. This is called as which logic? Presentation logic. This is called as which logic? Presentation logic. You are giving input, right? So for giving input, you required interface. For generating output also, you required one interface, right? So presentation logic. That presentation logic is called which one? Template. That presentation logic is called which one? Template. Template is which logic? Presentation logic. Understood? Presentation logic. You understood this program? Now tell me, in this program, which one is a presentation logic? Which one is a presentation? Which one is a presentation here? So can you say this is a presentation logic or not? Yes. This is a presentation and this is also what? Presentation. This is presentation logic. This both are called which one? Presentation logic. Input is given by using one interface. Output is given by using one interface. Now this you call it as which logic? Presentation logic. So by using this presentation logic, what you are doing? You are trying to give the input and you are trying to generate what? You are trying to give the input and you are trying to give what? Output. Suppose you open, suppose assume that you are writing some www.facebook.com. Now this is what? This is what? Presentation. This is called which one? Presentation. In web development, how you present data or information using HTML. Using what? HTML. HTML or not? Yes, HTML. But how you are generating a dynamic HTML? By using which one? Template. So template is for what? Presentation. Presentation. This is called which one? Presentation. Who generating this page? This page can be called as which one here? Template. This page can be called as which one? Template. After giving username and password, whatever output you get it, that is also called as which one? Template. This page can be called as a template. And after giving username and password, whatever output you'll get, that is also what here? Template. So template is for what? Alright, template is for what? Presentation. Template is for presentation. Presentation logic, you write in what here? Template. Okay, then now you enter username and what? Password. After giving username and what? Password, when you click on login, login. What will happen? This is given to one program or not? Yes. It is given to one program which will take or which will receive this input, which will receive this input and process it and generate what output. And what is that? What is that is called as here? View. What is view contain? What is view contain? What is view contain? Business logic. What is view contain? Business logic. What view will do? Input. Take the input. Take the input and process it and process it and give it to whom? Template for generating which one? Output. So in this example, tell me in this example, which one is a view? In this example, which one is a view? Which one is a view is adding two numbers. Which one is the view is adding two numbers. So this input is given. Okay, this input is given and this input is what? Added. Now this is called which logic? Business logic. This is called as which logic? Business logic. And that business logic you are writing in which program? View. So template is having which logic? Presentation logic. View is having which logic? Business logic. Means view will take what here? Input. View will take what? Input given by, or a view will take the input given by template. View will take the input given by template and process it. And that result is given to what? Template for generating output. Understood? So template is for input as well as output. And view is whatever input you are given using what? Template. That input is processed by which one? View. That input is processed by which one? View. And that output is given to whom? Template. So that it generate output. It means there is a communication between the view and what? Template. So template send data to what? View. And view will process the data and give it to what? Template. And template generates what? Output. It means there is a clear separation or not? Yes. If any changes in business logic, you do changes in what? View. Without doing changes in which logic? Presentation logic. If any changes in presentation logic, you can do the changes only in which logic? Presentation logic. Without doing changes in what? View. It means your Django application you are developing by using one architecture. So you are dividing your application logic into how many parts? Three parts. Are you writing everything in one part or divided? Divided. So that maintaining your code becomes what? Easy. If any changes in template, I do changes in what? Template. Without doing changes in what? View. If any changes to be done in view, I do changes only in what? View. Without doing changes in what? Template. Because of that, it is divided into number of modules. It is divided into number of parts. It is divided into number of modules. I think you have one algorithm called divide and conquer. So if you divide your problem into a number of subproblems, then solving the problem becomes what? Easy. So whenever you develop any project, you don't include everything in one program. Your application logic is divided into number of programs. Logic you separated. Now this contain templates, this contain the view, this contain what? Model. So that maintaining your code becomes what? Easy. Getting on. So where your presentation is in templates, where your business logic is in view. Okay, whenever you want to, suppose, assume that you go to ATM, you insert the card, you enter what? PIN number. So that is which one? Template. That is called as which one? Template. Where you enter the PIN. After giving PIN, you press OK. When you press OK, now this PIN is sent, right? So template is sending a PIN. Template is sending a PIN to whom? Or a template is sending a PIN to what? View. What view is doing? It is verifying. Is it that PIN is valid or not? If it is valid, it is reading some data, and that data is given to whom? Template. And the template is presenting it or not? Yes. So template is for which logic? Presentation. View is for which logic? Business logic. Means who will process the input? View. Who will generate the output? Template. Who will process the input? View. So view responsibility is taking the request and giving the output to whom? Template. So that template will generate the output. Understood? So it is using one architecture, and this architecture is the same because you cannot develop by following your own rules, right? Okay, every company they don't have their own architecture for developing web applications. Suppose X company is using one architecture, then that is fixed to which company? X. You cannot work with Y company or Z company. Because of that, they have given one standard architecture for developing web application using Python. And what is the standard architecture is MVT, which is nothing but model, view, and what? Template. Understood? So what is a model is? Model is nothing but which logic it is having? Persistent logic. So every web application required persistency. Persistence is nothing but storing data permanently. Storing data permanently. Where you store the data permanently? Database. So model represents what here? Database. Which communicate with what? Database. Model represents what? Communicating with what? Database. For example, now you enter PIN number, but you already store PIN number in the database or not? Yes. So you enter the PIN number using template. So that PIN number is sent to what? View. Then view where it is looking for this PIN number? Database. But how you communicate with the database using model. So model contain which logic? Persistent logic. Means this is used for communicating with what? Database. Any changes in database logic, you do changes in what? Model. Any changes in business logic, you do changes in what? View. Any changes to be done in presentation logic, you do changes in what? Template. So developing your application becomes what? Easy. So it is given one architecture for developing this. Okay, this facility is given by the Python and Django. What is that is? MVT, not MVC. MVC in other languages, but in Python, you call it as which one? MVT. Model, view, and template. So what is template? What is template represent here? Presentation logic. But how you present it? By using uh, in web, how you present the data using HTML here. How you present the data in web? HTML. How you present the data in web? HTML. You use what? HTML. Okay. So what is view contain? What is view contain? Business logic. What view contain? Business logic. What is the use of view? Taking the input. Taking the input given by template and processing it by communicating with database using model and process data is given to template so that it can generate output easy. Understood? Right? That is what you mean by MVT, model, view, template. So this is the first feature given by the Django. So MVC pattern. So DJANGO follows model, view, template pattern. Separate the business logic, user interface, and control flow, which is called as which one? View. So actually, this is business logic means this required to communicate with which one? Database, right? Yes. So that is what you mean by MVC pattern. Anyway, there are 15 features are there. Let us discuss about all these features one by one, but not today, right? So we'll discuss tomorrow, right? All these 15 features we'll see, and I'll tell you how to install the Django and how to configure and how to develop, right? So not today, but tomorrow we'll see it. Thank you. Right. Yeah, MVC, MVT both are same, right? Backend developer. We do some project.
I don't know.
Yes, up to 9 o'clock. Yesterday uploaded. ABC అనేది abstract base class for developing abstract classes. అయిపోయిందా పైథాన్ అయిందా? తెలియదా? తెలియదా మీకు? తెలియదా అది ఏబిసి సిలబస్ లో ఉంది కదా? ఎవరి మీద చెప్తాడు కదా అతను? చెప్తాడు కదా అతను? అబ్స్ట్రాక్షన్ నేర్చుకున్నారా? అదే కదా మరి చూడండి ఒకసారి. टेलीग्राम में